And welcome everyone to another episode of Indie Spotlight. My name is Michael. I'm one of the co-founders of Wicked Publishing. And then today we also have our fellow co-founder, Matt Sulos. Welcome, Matt.
How's it going?
And today we're joined by an awesome creator, Ryan. I believe his name is Brian Hack, if I'm mispronouncing that.
Yep, that's me. Yep.
Perfect. And we've actually spoken before. We had him on an episode to talk about the first issue of this comic, Bric-A-Brac.
Yes.
A holiday Christmas-themed comic, and it was awesome, and it reached its goal and made success. And so we have him back with us today to talk about the new issue, which is crowdfunding currently. And I'm really excited to have you, man. So
yeah, man.
Without further ado, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me back. I appreciate you guys letting me on before, and I appreciate what you guys do. I think it's so cool that you guys we were talking about your website. There's so many books that you have, and you're so many creators you support. I really think that's an amazing thing. Like, I try to do that with this one thing that I do with, it's called The Unspeakable Text. It's like a horror comic anthology that I do where I collaborate with people, but it's like you guys do it on a whole nother level. You know, you're just trying to get people's work out. I think that's one of the most amazing things about what the internet can do, and honestly, just what other people can do when they help each other.
Yeah, no, you're right. I put a quote out. I actually just tweeted, I think it's a proverb, but it was, if you want to go fast, go alone, and if you want to go far, go together. And I thought that was a really kind of thing, you know.
For sure.
Along with what you're saying there.
Yeah, exactly. Collaboration is awesome, and having people helping you self-publish, and self-publishing is great because then you have no one really changing your vision. But also there's a lot of things that get in the way, like money being one of them is a huge thing. So that's why, you know, people have to crowdfund or so I don't know. It's like, would you rather have that, all the freedom, or would you rather have, you know, people kind of meddling with it? And I don't know. It's
very tough. Yeah, it really is. It's like a very fine line you have to walk, I feel like, as an indie creator.
For sure. 100%. Yeah. Cause you're going to have to make cuts somewhere, you know, it's just how it goes, you know, and then you're going to have to end up definitely spending your own wad of cash for sure. Because it's just how it goes.
Right. So, yeah. But, you know, speaking of, we mentioned you had a successful campaign the first time. How did that feel, man? How was that?
It was great, man. It was amazing to have that book finally get out. And I was shipping them in January. So it was like, okay, well, the Christmas is over. But, you know, from now, if we succeed in this campaign, if we have to extend it, whatever, I think we could succeed. I really do. Then we'll be able to ship them on before Christmas. So like we're talking Thanksgiving. So I'm really pushing towards making this happen. I would love to make this campaign work. If not, you know, we're just going to keep doing it through the fall season, because I do believe that we can get there. If I just keep pushing and pushing, because, you know, I think people really want it, but it needs to be the right time. And I understand it's hard in August to think about Christmas and have that foresight, because some people are still trying to get food on the table, or you know, like find out when they're going back to work physically, or it's hard to kind of think that far in the future. But like we were talking about before, I think it's a positive, children friendly, kind of like a Pixar in a comic book kind of thing. So that's the goal. Cool. And so that's what I'm kind of going for. So I think I don't know. I hope that people find the imagery really, really positive, and they resonate with it. Because I do personally. I love all Christmas imagery. I think it's so cool, and so I want to make a comic book about it. So that's kind of
right. And we talked about it last time, but it does kind of come from your love for Christmas and your inspiration from that.
100%, 100%, yes. Which
is awesome, and I totally get the feel of wanting to bring something that kind of brings joy into the world, and you know, brings a little bit of lightheartedness and whatnot. So I can definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think Christmas is such a important holiday, and I think the thing about it that people I don't think appreciate the most is that the values of like trying to be your best self. Like, I think we should live every day trying to be our best selves, and it sounds kind of cheesy, but like, if you look at Christmas as its true values, and like you kind of like look at, and I know it's weird, but like even analyzing Christmas movies and like looking at what are their character arcs, like what is this stuff we've created and tell ourselves about Christmas, like, and without the gifts. And I get that people say without the gifts or without this, but really like just look at it as a base level. It's about being the best version of yourself and just trying to make other people happy. And
that's really interesting.
Yeah. And I get the gifts are important, because gifts are the way that other people get into the Christmas spirit. I understand that it's hard for people to just get into it automatically, and that's why gifts are kind of like that bridge. But if you can just turn that Christmas switch and like just try to be the best person you can be, I think that's where like Christmas really becomes like an everyday thing. Like it's really weird, but for me, I feel like it is that. So it's weird how that works.
Well, that's really interesting. It kind of sounds like maybe that's something you want to convey with your comic a little bit as well.
100%, yeah. Because you know when the comic takes place on a planet Christmas, and so it's Christmas every day, but yet but then there's a war on the planet Christmas. So it's like, how does that happen? And like all these characters who are supposed to represent, you know, good, and you know, for example, that we know. In stories, the nutcrackers are the heroic soldiers who defend against the rat kings, and you know they're supposed to be our heroes, but yet they are enemies. And in this story, and so everything is flipped on its head, and everything you know about Christmas and the things you're familiar with are alien now. And so like it's just that that dissonance. I think it's just really cool to tell a story about that. And then obviously it's going to have a happy ending because it's a children's story. In part 3, there's going to be a happy ending, but like, it's just about just like showing how we get from this destroyed world that used to be so great to something that's good again. So, you know, it's just kind of like a rebirth. And so I don't know, I love that whole arc of that story. And I think the idea of a planet Christmas is just, I don't know. There's so much you can do with that. There's so much you can do with, and there's so many locales we'll visit in this second issue. I know we got to go to beaches and different places, but here we're going to go underwater. There's an aquatic place where people on Planet Christmas live. There is a place on Planet Christmas where people completely reject Christmas and they instead make it look like a normal suburban neighborhood, and they completely reject it, and they want to live on their own. And then there are, you know, there's knights and there's castles, and in issue 2 we go to the extreme. We're kind of going, and then obviously we're also adding because Bric-A-Brac, the story is actually, we're going to go kind of intergalactic, because the real enemy in the story is a guy who's kind of manipulating the nutcrackers to do this.
Oh my goodness.
And so he's from another planet. And so we're going to get to see all of that awesome stuff. If you look at some of the pages, you'll get to see this guy and what kind of, maybe if you can figure out what his kind of plot is. But he definitely is the person who's like, it's kind of like how Ultron says, like, I'm the puppet or whatever, like the puppet, I pull your strings or whatever. It's basically the same thing. Like, so that's what this bad guy does. And so with Bric-A-Brac 2, man, we are like adding to the scope. Like the scope is like, we pull, like Bric-A-Brac 1 was very focused on the quest, and it's still very focused on the quest, but 2 just kind of expands even more. The cast gets bigger. We meet Jack Frost, cool. Good King Wenceslas, and then a bunch of new encounters and enemies. Then there's a backup story which explains basically how the war came to be. And we didn't get that with Bric-A-Brac 1 because we just kind of like went into it. And so it's kind of like, you know, how Star Wars just kind of goes into it. Like, you don't know what's happening really. You know who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. But like 2 really gets into the nooks and crannies of like, okay, Planet Christmas was a perfect place. Then something happened. And the Nutcrackers actually worked for Father Christmas, but then something happened. Yeah, it's just it's so cool because it's like, it's a children's story, but yet it's also like really intriguing and like,
I love that.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we're going for. So it's, you know, hopefully appeals to both adults and children. That's the kind of thing we're going for.
And I really like how you've expanded the world in this one, and you said, okay, we have the first issue, you know, dive into it, let's get into it. Now let's expand everything and open it up and really see what the world's all about.
100%. Yeah. So it's really exciting. I mean, and new enemies and new people who, you know, Jack Frost is a huge guy. He was mentioned briefly in the first one, but it's just kind of expanding the cast and a lot more conflicts. And conflicts between Garret and Marie, the 2 main characters, they butt heads because their goals are different, and they start to realize that kind of as things go on. And so it's just really fun. It like makes things more complicated. It's like how every sequel in a trilogy kind of works. this book is kind of working in, and like the characters will 100% be at their lowest at the end of issue 2.
Oh boy.
And with 3, it's going to be all out war. I mean, we're talking about intergalactic war. We're talking about the war on Planet Christmas itself between all the factions. And it's just going to be big and crazy. But there are some amazing action scenes in 2 as well. Don't get me wrong. There's amazing action scenes. But you'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully, if we get it funded.
Well, that's awesome. So I'd love to take a look here at the page, and I'll pull that up in just a second. But I wanted to see if maybe, for those who maybe didn't see our first episode or aren't familiar with the story, maybe just give us a little brief synopsis about what the story is about and kind of what catch us up with issue 1.
For sure. So it's a Christmas Odyssey through and through. It's kind of like, basically the concept is that there's a war on Planet Christmas. That's what happens. And we don't know how, we don't know why, but there's a war on Planet Christmas, and the nutcrackers are going after this resource called Christmas spirit for an unknown reason, which we'll later find out has something tied into with this galactic warrior we're talking about. But so they want to take over the planet. And they're getting all these weapons to do so from this outside source, from this warlord guy. And so they're taking over the planet, and we begin issue 2 where they kind of take over our main hero's planet. His name is Garret, and he, he lives in Sugar Plum Cove, and he lives with Sugar Plum fairies, and all his friends are little kids. They're all just kids. And it's basically their home is destroyed by the nutcrackers, just like so many other homes and planets, or not planets, but islands and environments and homes and shelters that are taken over by the nutcrackers. The same happens to the Sugar Plum Cove. And so he decides to save his friends who have been kidnapped because these kids on Planet Christmas have an understanding of where Father Christmas is that no one else does, because they are innocent, and they it's kind of something we'll go into a little later, but they have an understanding. So the nutcrackers steal every kid except for Garret, who escapes, and Garret basically decides, hey, I'm going to find Father Christmas because I believe he can make everything right. Very childlike thinking. I know I've never seen Father Christmas, but I know that he exists, and he's very magical. And so he goes on a quest to find him, and basically he just try with his childlike intuition, tries to find where the North Pole is. He finds it in issue 1, and Father Christmas isn't there. And so that kind of goes on with the Christmas Odyssey. It's almost, it's kind of like Odysseus trying to go back home, or all these epic quests you find, in all these stories. Exactly. So he's just trying to find Father Christmas, who he believes will save the day. But there's way more things that are more complicated, and there's reasons why he hasn't already, and reasons why he doesn't want to, and so it gets more complicated. And so that's basically the overall quest. He meets Marie, who is an adult, who basically helps him navigate around Planet Christmas because he is just a 10-year-old kid. So he needs. She's a leader in a militia that's gathered in Christmasville. And so, yeah, she's a very capable leader, and she helps him find Father Christmas because she has her own agenda, which we'll explain in issue 2. And that's kind of like a long, complicated explanation of the story. But basically, it's just a boy's quest to find Father Christmas and who he believes will save Planet Christmas from war, because he believes that Father Christmas can do anything, right? So that's the main story.
I like it, man. That's a really great premise, and it's definitely super original. Like, there's nothing like that I've ever seen before. So
I don't know. I always I don't know how anyone's ever done it, but like, I know that I would say I took a lot of inspiration from which we've probably talked about before, the Rankin and Bass movies.
Yeah,
so
we did. Yeah.
Yeah, so Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and The Year Without a Santa Claus, Rudolph Shiny New Year, Jack Frost, all those amazing movies.
Classics.
And then add it with Nightmare Before Christmas, but then also with a kind of sci-fi twist, which I feel like is needed because it's like, why not? Like, it's so cool to have I like how
right?
Yeah, like in The Nightmare Before Christmas there's the Christmas world, but like everyone wants to see more of the Christmas world. Like, why can't we go there? And like, is it its own planet? Like, that's what I wanted to do. And like, let's expand this. Like, everyone loves this scene so much, and it's only one scene that Jack gets to go around. Like, what would it be like if we expanded that world? And so that's kind of where the idea of Bric-A-Brac came from. In fact, even down to the title, Jack Skellington says Bric-A-Brac in, I think, a song called Jack's Lament or something. And so that's kind of where the title came from, because he's like talking about like, I don't understand why Christmas is so great to people. It's just like, this is all just junk and stuff. And so that's kind of where it came from. So it's very tied to that too. So I would say.
Nice. I love Neighbor Before Christmas.
Me too. Yeah. I mean, I want them to make a sequel, but at the same time, it's like they shouldn't. It just would be so great on its own.
Yeah, that would be interesting, wouldn't it, if they did a sequel?
Yeah, I don't know. It would be really interesting, but yeah, every year or so there's like rumors like, oh, it's gonna happen, and then it's like, oh, it was a manga or something. It's like, oh, that's not really a sequel, but
adaptation more like, yeah.
Exactly. So.
But so that's awesome, man. Well, thank you for explaining and kind of giving us a little overview of what the comic's about.
Yeah.
And what I'll do now is I'll go ahead and bring up the page here with the new Indiegogo. And so again, this is the second time around that you've been. This is the first one you had success with, so you're coming back for a second outing here, which is awesome.
Yes, and that's
so you're currently.
Right there.
Yeah, I love this. And so this character, I believe you said her name is Marie. Is that right?
Yes, that's her. Yeah.
She's a gingerbread person. Is that right?
She's gingerbread marshmallow. So she's like.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So she kind of looks different than the other gingerbread people, but she's, like I said, the leader of the Christmasville militia. So she's a very capable leader, and very capable in fisticuffs, obviously. And so, so that's kind of what's going. So that's her name is Marie. Yep.
That's great, man. Yeah, I love that. And so currently you're at 12%. You have 1,000 of your goal.
Yep.
And there's 22 days left, so you're on your way there.
I hope we'll get there, but we can, if we have to, we can extend, which is the beauty of Indiegogo. So
that is nice. Yeah, I do love that feature. Yeah.
Really
makes it nice. But definitely all the backers, every backer counts, and really
exactly 100%.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and start by going over the perks. I always like to go over what you got on offer here. So
100%.
Tell us a little bit about what you got here.
Yeah, man. So we just have the digital because I know that people, in Europe, or they want the digital. And I've had even people in the comments, like the minute I launched, were like, "Where's the digital bundle? Where's the digital bundle? I want the first one digital." So that is, you have to do that. I feel like I know that some people don't like to do that because, well, first off, you lose out on money. But my idea is like, well, technically it's free. You're getting free money because like there's no shipping, there's no anything. It's just you give the PDF away and there's no cost. And so I think it's a great thing. I think some people don't think it is for their own reasons. But you know what? I think it's a good thing, and people have expressed to me that they like it. So it's here.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I always think that you should have a digital tier for sure.
Yeah. And then there's just the normal physical that we have.
And you get a little mini glimpse of the cover there.
Yep, for sure.
That's a great cover, isn't it? It came out so good. I just love the action.
It's actually it's technically so it's inspired a lot by two covers. One is there's a Batman Superman issue. I think the interior art is by Michael Turner, where and it's written by Jeff Loeb, I think, and the cover is by Jim Lee though, and it's from like the mid 2000s, and it's like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman facing off against a horde of Doomsday clones. Like, do you remember that movie? I think it's called like but it has like Michael Turner art and stuff like that, and there was an animated movie based on it and stuff. But anyway, the cover it's like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman versus the Doomsday clones, and so they're all like charging towards them, and like that. It's like one of the coolest Jim Lee covers. And then it's also done by another of my favorite artists who kind of did a similar thing in Batman and Robin with Grant Morrison and Frank Quietly, who did this one where like these little doll enemy things that they're fighting Batman and Robin are like their hands are coming out towards Batman and Robin, and like it's just like such a cool image. And then it's like seeing the two of them fight I love that kind of thing. So like that's what I wanted with cover 2 is like to see two people fight, because in the other covers we've had people just kind of like, here is this character. They've been very focused on character, but like I kind of wanted to go with like an action cover.
Nice, really
more interesting. There's more going on. Yeah, exactly.
I think that was a good choice, and like you said, it's a nice homage to those other 2 covers.
Yes,
well.
I love those. Frank Riley and Jim Lee. I mean, you can't go wrong if you're even their bad covers are still, you could still like try to homage them and they'd be amazing. So
yeah, that's true. Good point.
Yeah.
Next one we have the Digital Deluxe. Ooh.
Yes. So yeah, Digital Deluxe, just you get 1 and 2. You know, very
very good. Yeah.
Yeah, and 2 is gonna have or 1 is gonna have a variant cover. We're working on having the Santa Claus image as the variant cover for
we see there
the extra copies of 1. So hopefully more people back 1. 1 is actually a add-on. So if you just get 1 perk and you want to add on 1, which is another cool thing Indiegogo does, the Kickstarter does not do. Like you can kind of add on like a thing to like your original, like let's say you get a tier and you select 1 and then you can add another perk onto it. So that's what's so cool about like Indiegogo is it gives you so many more options. Like you just have more options. Why wouldn't you want more options? I don't know. That's my thing about it, but
that's cool, man. Yeah, that's pretty smart. And I think you said that they have so many nice features that just it seems like this might be the place to be, really.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I think there's benefits to both. I think there's just 2 separate audiences. That's the thing. There's just different audiences, and that's really the difference. I feel like I don't know.
No, that makes a lot of sense. You're probably right about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then the next one we have is physical copies of 1 and 2. So this is how you can get your hands on that first issue if you missed out.
Yep.
And I love the art that we're seeing on the left here. This is really fun stuff here, man. This is
Yeti
or something.
That is Jack Frost.
That's Jack Frost. Oh dang!
Yeah,
he ain't messing around.
Yeah, for sure. Well, actually, Jack Frost he wasn't always that. So the backup story will describe how he got that way.
Oh wow!
Because he used to team up with General Almond. There's a past there that. So that's why they're fighting against each other now. Is they have some old wounds that have not healed well, as it's clearly had by the severed arm. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man! Wow, that's intense. But so the physical copies of 1 and 2. So that, as we mentioned, that comes with 1 and 2 there, and with the variant cover as well.
Yes.
Nice, very good.
And then here's just a Jack Frost print. So there's a print that's going to come, an exclusive print that's coming with the Bric-A-Brac Deluxe. So like, let's just say you want issue 2, the print, and a new bookmark, and then you can do an add-on of issue 1 if you want to. So yeah, that exclusive cover is done by the same guy who does all the covers, Tom Barton, who's an amazing artist, and I think it's so cool. I love that cover the print, and so I don't know. I hope people will want that.
That's a nice one. I actually really like that as well.
Yeah. And then I think
I'm sorry, I got this is awesome. Nia says Jack Frost, more like Jack Frost.
True. 100%. Yeah, he's jacked. He's like King Kong. Like he's kind of like really. King Kong jacked.
Yeah. Don't mess with this Jack Frost. That's
exactly. Sure. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he gets angry.
He's like the Hulk that way.
Yeah. And then this one is just like if you're a super fan, if you want a shirt, which I want a shirt, so it's like, let's get somebody else to get a shirt so I can have an excuse to get a shirt.
Nice, the Bric-A-Brac shirt. Now, you didn't have a shirt on your first campaign, right?
No.
All right, so this is the first one.
Yeah, very basic first campaign, like sketches, this, that, and cool. The creative character was kind of cool, and a lot of people got to do it. One issue I had with the creative character was people didn't respond soon enough. Oh, wow. So which is a thing that always happens with these. Like, I had a campaign like last year that someone was like, you didn't send me my copy. It's like, well, you didn't give me your address. So it's like, it's very hard to do that kind of stuff. So it just happens, Yeah,
I wonder if they get back to you, maybe at some point you could put it in a later issue, perhaps.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Yeah, so there's some people who didn't, and so we'll put it in a later issue, and this one.
Nice.
Which is great because that's cool because we're still obviously in production, so it's just like we'll add on to that. And
well, that's nice. At least you can get that done.
For sure.
Yeah. And then what do we have on the next tier here?
So,
Ooh, Christmas creator returns.
they've returned. Yeah, exactly. It was so cool to have people create their own characters, and like I just thought that was such a cool community thing to do. And Raphael's such a great artist that he can just make it look great. And I think a lot of people were happy about it. So that's why I brought this tier. And there's so many scenes in this one too where there'll be opportunities to add new characters. I can think of like 3 scenes already where there's so many opportunities to add characters. So that's why we do this thing. It's kind of cool to do it. It's like we don't just want like generic characters in the background. So it's like to have something that's actually cool and from the community, I think is awesome. So I hope people grab onto that.
Yeah, and people who get to participate in that will be able to read the book and see their character they created in there.
Exactly. And so with those tiers, you get all the stuff. You get the book. You get everything.
Okay, nice, very nice. It's a whole shebang, really.
Exactly.
Very good. Oh, we got more here. What we got
here? And then just the sketch. And so it's everything added with a sketch. So we did sketches last time. Hopefully we're going to be able to do sketches that are a little more detailed. So yeah, the ones last time were just kind of like small, as you can see. But hopefully next time we'll get really cooler ones and maybe more characters, because obviously we have more characters that have been added to the cast. So
nice. So look forward to some bonus cards.
Exactly.
Nice, man.
100%.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I love the art too.
Yes, this is the backup story. The backup story. It's called The Tragedy of Jack Frost. So we get to understand what exactly got him to that point, and then we also, in the same way, understand how the war happened, what kind of made things go the way they went, and how the Nutcrackers took power, and what exactly, as you can see, they're taking over the aquatic, like the Christmas Atlantis, and then they're taking over a jungle where there's monkeys, and then just kind of going around with their
taking over the whole planet.
Yeah, exactly. So
wow, geez, yeah, those Nutcrackers are sure evil, man.
Yeah, they are, but they're misunderstood because they're definitely evil, though. They're definitely evil.
I like that. They're misunderstood. Well, they're definitely evil, though.
Yeah, because I don't know. It's like they've been in a position of servitude for so long to Father Christmas.
It's in their nature.
Yeah, that it's in their nature to rebel, and it's like, as you will see in the next page, like General Almond used to work for Father Christmas, but obviously something happened where there was this warlord came to Planet Christmas and kind of said, well, hey, you could disband from Father Christmas and do this for me instead. And so the Nutcrackers take that option, and so they become enemies, mortal enemies. And so the story gets more complicated, and so I love that idea. So yeah.
What can you tell us about this thing? Because I know you teased the character on the bottom left there recently.
Yes. So he is basically, his name is Caesar Demetrius, and he's from this place called New Rome. It's like a planet out in a far distant galaxy, and he basically wants the Nutcrackers he has located a resource on Planet Christmas that's called Christmas Spirit, and it is formed underneath places. It's kind of like the Force. In like Star Wars, but it's formed in different places, and it basically is formed when people are really happy, and there's Christmas spirit all around and stuff, and so they want to harvest it because it can power a machine that they're going to use to take over the galaxy, basically.
Oh wow!
Called the Solstice Eater. So they're going to use the Solstice Eater to eat the sun, and so it definitely ties into that whole idea of Christmas. Like Christmas is the darkest. Like the winter is the darkest time of the year, but then there's the solstice where it's like the longest day of the year. And it's kind of adding in that solar idea into the Christmas thing that just even more so add on the layer of meaning to Christmas. Like, okay, well, even down to like the sun. Well, it's the longest days of the year, this and that and that. And so the solstice eater's goal is to eat the sun. And so that's what Caesar Demetrius is trying to do. And so he is using the Nutcrackers to collect the Christmas spirit so he can power the ship to do that, basically. So,
and it looks like the Father Christmas and the rest don't really take him too seriously, at least at this point in time.
Yeah, no, they're friends, because he accidentally crash lands on Planet Christmas accidentally, quote, he actually does mean to. He has it all planned out, but he
This guy's got ulterior motives, I can tell.
Exactly. So, yep. So that it's just such a cool thing. So we're gonna add more depth to that story. So I'm super excited to do that. Yep.
Yeah, I love this scene here.
And you can see Jack Frost there on the left of the
yeah.
Yeah, that is what he looks like before
Much
the
more
transformation. Yes, before he gets jacked.
Jacked up, you might say.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's cool. Yeah, I love so many characters you have. You have all these amazing characters that you've created.
Yeah.
So you spent a lot of time on this.
Yeah, and this is a page from the last book, but I just wanted to give people more of an idea of, this is Father Christmas leaving for some strange reason. We don't know why. Where is he going? We will figure this stuff out. So
it looks like they're trying to shoot him down here.
Yeah, exactly, because they want him to be on their side so they can take over the planet easier with his magic. Because he is regardless of what the Nutcrackers think or what anyone thinks, Father Christmas is the most powerful warrior on Planet Christmas. It's unprecedented. So I mean, he's totally even better than Jack Frost. Completely unprecedented, best warrior on Planet Christmas. So that's why they want him on their side, but he refuses to fight.
And that's interesting because it kind of leads to, it seems like it might lead to the mystery of what's going on and why he's missing, because why would the greatest warrior of Planet Christmas, not fight? Why would he hide? Well,
exactly.
So there's got to be that mystery and
yes.
Find out where did he go.
Yes, and that's Jack Frost just doing what he used to do before the whole war happened. Just playing with animals. Yes, definitely. Much happier.
Wow. Yeah, I love that, man. You got a mythology going.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely, issue 2 adds the mythology. 110%. 110%.
Yeah, I know when we talked about the first time, I really liked what I was seeing, but yeah, like you said, I think you've expanded on everything. It's just getting better here. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, we're definitely making it more complex. Okay, well, this is this, and all these characters are connected through this, and it's just funner. It's fun. I worked harder on it. I feel like, the first one was like, oh, it's a Christmas comic book and we're going to enter this world. But now we're going to get serious because things are kind of shifting and the Nutcrackers are getting more powerful. And so that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, for sure.
I love this worm guy.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I love him. He's just so.
Oh, man. But that's great, man. The comic's looking really excellent.
Yes. Yeah, I'm so.
I interrupt you. I was going to say, how many issues have you planned for this series?
Just 3. So we were gonna do 2, but I did a campaign earlier this year and to see if people wanted just like a complete graphic novel, which people were like, oh, they were upset with the first issue, some of them, because it was like, oh, well, the story just kind of ends, and I want more, and with crowdfunded books. I get it. People want the entire story because it takes forever to get it done. And then it takes it forever to ship. It's like, why would I want to do, why would I want to keep paying this huge price for all this stuff? But it's like, so anyway, I gave people the option of if they wanted a complete graphic novel and then we would have it done by December, but people didn't want it. The goal was really big, so we didn't succeed. But with this one, and I, kind of just asked a lot of people and they're like, you should just do an issue 2. So we are going to have 3 issues and the story's going to be bigger than we even originally intended. And so, we're going to hopefully have more backup stories and more explaining the mythology and maybe even prose stories. Just more about I think people are interested in the just what the world is like. And so I want to explain that and expand upon that. Just that kind of stuff. So
that's pretty awesome, man. Yeah, it's cool to hear that you kind of expanded on the story from the original too, and kind of made it even bigger than what it was.
100%, yes.
Yeah, that's great. Let's see here. So, what's going on in this? We got the print here. I believe.
Yes, that is the print. Yep.
Oh man, yeah, that's really good. Now, what's the name of your artist again?
So that is by Tom Barton. The guy who does all of our covers is Tom Barton, and he's doing the backup story. But Raphael Sam is the name of the guy who's doing the interior art, and he's a beast. He's so great, and he did a lot of the character designs. some of them were done by Tom, but Raphael did a majority of them. And so, yeah, he's just a beast, man. I'm so privileged to be able to work with like an artist at his caliber. I think he's just so awesome. And same with Tom. They're just awesome people. And so I'm so excited to hopefully be able to come back with him and collaborate on issue 2 and make it even better. And I make people's Christmas, because I want people to be able to read both issue 1 and 2 for Christmas, like, because I picture that, imagine that, it's like I imagine people reading it, the night before Christmas, or and just enjoying it. So
too much noise though. We all know about that.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what I mean. It's just like that. Because I love the idea of like Christmas. Yeah, and I know that Grant Morrison is doing the Claus book, but this is different. Like this is like it's very child oriented, and it's meant to be that kind of book that it's like, yeah, we can read this with like a 2-year-old, and they still kind of understand the main concepts of the story. So yeah.
And when same thing with someone who's like 20, 30, whatever, everyone can enjoy the book. There's a good story for everyone.
Exactly. Yes.
Now I do love this piece is really nice, man, because the art is just so good. Like the line art is so, I don't know, it's like this guy's got a deft hand, that's for sure. Dude,
Tom is a beast. He's like, he does a lot of game design, and then he also did a work for a League of Legends comic book. So
really? Oh wow.
Yeah, so he did the work for a League of Legends, like I forget the name of the character, but he is a game designer, he does game things, and so he's an amazing artist, and he's a great designer of things. He when he gave me this cover, he gave me like 6 variations, and like the idea was like to go for like a King Kong kind of thing, because I wanted like that kind of imposing figure, not like a Bane where it's like he kind of looks tactical, but like more like just a Goliath figure. And so that's, we had one where it was like, he basically looked like a monkey climbing on like the ice. But this one we went with like, this is the best. This is the best one, I feel like, because you see the roots coming out of his back, and and then we took inspiration from Diamond Head from Ben 10.
Oh, nice.
Definitely in the face. I love Diamond Head. Like that's one of the coolest looking, one of the best aliens in Ben 10, but like, to be honest, one of the coolest cartoon character designs, I feel like. All those Ben 10 aliens are like, but anyway, that's kind of the inspiration for him.
Yeah, I used to watch Ben 10 a lot, man. That was a good one. And I could definitely see inspiration there too.
For sure.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, and then here's the cover again, and then there's the line art that you were talking about. The line art by Tom is beneath that one.
Mm.
Yeah, so you just kind of get to see how his process works. He works digitally, but his coloring is amazing. I'm so astounded by people who can do the line art and just make it look convincing and awesome. It's like, it's just takes so much work, and so he's just a master at it.
This will definitely please you, I believe. Neostar says that actually was my plan to read the book during December.
Yes, yeah, I hope that people do that. I really do. Yeah, I want to make sure that people can do that. And that's why I really want the book to be out by that time. It would be amazing to have the book out by that time.
It would be really cool too if people actually would like give it as a gift too.
Yes, 100%. No, I would love that. Yeah, just to have people give it to because that happened with the book last time. Is people gave it as gifts for. Obviously it was after Christmas, but it was meant for Christmas or stuff like that. And the book was supposed to come out after Christmas because I had an unsuccessful campaign before, which I had everything planned out, but it just didn't work. And so I went to Indiegogo, and thankfully I was able to succeed. So.
Yeah, it's cool that you came back after, you didn't get it the first time, but you came back and you did get that success.
Yeah, exactly. It's always worth it just to keep coming back, because it's honestly it's an experiment. That's what crowdfunding is. Like, you could just put something up and say, I want this to happen. I really want you guys to experience this because I see what it could be. If you guys want it to happen, then share it and back it. If you don't, then don't. You know, like there's not really that much to it. People can give you guides on how to do it, and sure, the launch helps, and it does, and there's a lot of calculations that you need to know for sure. That's 100%. You need to know the shipping. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's like you just put something out there and say, would you guys fund this? Would you guys want to fund this? And so if it doesn't work, sometimes it's the wrong time, sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. But every once in a while, it does happen. So, yep.
Yeah, man. And I think you're going to get it, though. Personally, I think you guys are on the track to getting it. And like you said, you can extend if you need to, but it does seem like you're on the right track there.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, hopefully by the middle of the week we get to 20%. Then we're trucking. I feel like that's when we're gonna go. We're gonna get going on it then.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Because like people say 20% is like if something gets over 20%, then there's a good likelihood it will succeed. There's like a 95% likelihood. I don't know why or who came up with the statistic, but it's a thing. So.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, sorry to kind of cut in real quick, but I was just wondering throughout the whole thing, did you have plans on going with other holidays or certain other aspects for this, or is it only going to be more of like a Christmas series kind of thing?
It is more of a Christmas series, but I want to expand on every element of Christmas. So there's parts that, there's parts that talk about the different religious holidays because those are relevant in Christmas, no matter what, how you want to say, oh, they're just associated with it or not. They are an element of Christmas. So they're definitely acknowledged on Planet Christmas. It wouldn't be Planet Christmas without Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or the Christian Christmas or anything like that. So it's like they have to be acknowledged. And so in some of the issues, there's small little things to that. In issue 3, there's definitely a huge part to do with that. And but in terms of other holidays, though, no, there's not any plans to expand, really. Although I love, and I've always loved Halloween, like I could definitely see doing like some monster team-up thing or some really fun child. Like I would definitely like to do things that are more child-friendly because I love children's literature. I think it's like really, really important. And so that's definitely open. But in terms of having it be a holiday, I'm not sure.
Now, I kind of expanding on that question. Is it a thing where, let's say, Halloween Planet doesn't exist in that universe, or is it just something you're not going to touch on at all?
I could touch on it because like we are going more intergalactic. So I feel like maybe we could just say, well, there is a planet Easter. There's definitely a planet Easter, and it gets taken or and it's affected by the solstice machine because of this or this or this. And so we could definitely acknowledge it. So I will definitely keep that in mind because I think people would love to see it. Yeah, it won't be the focus though. It won't be the focus.
Okay, yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
I think that some holidays like Halloween and Easter definitely, I mean, if you look at the religious side of it, it has a lot of meaning. But Christmas, I think has a lot of values that I think you could really make a story on, and kind of what I was talking about. Like Halloween is amazing and it's cool that people get to dress up and stuff. But what is the virtue? Are there an incredible virtue in Halloween? I don't really see like an amazing amount of virtue in Halloween. But what I do see is Christmas, like just the idea of it. Like, again, like I said, and I get that it's cheesy, but take away the toys, take away even the imagery. What is it? What is it? And it's honestly just the aptitude to be better. Like, that's it. And so if you think about Christmas like that and you try to be as positive as you can be every morning, you are basically celebrating Christmas every morning. And so that's my philosophy. I think the virtues of Christmas are what really inspired me to make this story. And I don't know if there's other holidays other than Easter and stuff like that really capture that. Maybe 4th of July, obviously stuff that's very meaningful to a lot of people, Memorial Day. But for some reason, I think that I can say all I can say about those in this one holiday. I don't know. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, no, it did. It really does. Yeah, that's really cool. And it makes sense why you would want to focus on it because it's going along with the themes and the messages that you kind of wanted to convey with it.
Exactly. But there's definitely we could definitely expand and say, oh, well, this does exist. There is a planet Halloween, and maybe we could even see some Halloween creatures. You never know. We could definitely do that.
Right? That's what's fun about it too, is that there's all these different directions you can take it.
Exactly.
Okay, nice. I think we're seeing some more art here. It looks like they're taking over the fairies at this point.
Yeah, this is the first book. Yes, so they're taking over the Sugar Plum Cove is what they're doing, and then they're going to take the Christmas spirit from below.
Oh, wow.
And and so this is just a little bit about us.
Nice.
Hopefully the grounded.
You got to have a fun Christmas photo right here.
Yeah, of course.
That's great. And then we got your artist, it looks like, maybe?
Yes, Raphael Sam. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, he is a beast, 100%.
Where does he live?
He lives in Brazil, Recife,
Nice.
Brazil. And so there's a lot of amazing artists in Brazil and in South America that are, there's just so many great artists. I just feel like his art is just on another level in some respect. And his Instagram following shows that his Instagram following is growing and growing. I'm so happy for him to be able to, he's just such a great artist. And, he worked for DreamWorks. He works for a lot of different animation companies. And so I hope that, it's been a great collaboration with him. He understands what I mean, even though we don't speak the same language. And I have to kind of articulate my scripts in a way that make it easier for him to understand. And I feel kind of ignorant because I don't really know his language very well. But at the same time, it's like we somehow make it work. He's never once drawn something that doesn't kind of represent what I tried to illustrate. We've never had an issue like that ever. So it's like it's a blessing.
Wow, that's really incredible when you can find someone you work so well with, even despite that language barrier.
Exactly. So it's just it's a gift. Yeah, for sure. He's an amazing artist.
Yeah, definitely. The art definitely speaks for itself. That's for sure. And then the other artist that you're working with, we mentioned earlier,
Tom Barton. Yep. So he's the guy who did the covers, and he did Olaf versus Everything, the League of Legends, and he's a beast. He's a beast.
Wow. Yeah. That's a fun one.
Yeah.
And then we have some information on the logistics about where the money's going to and all that nitty-gritty details and all that stuff as well.
Exactly.
And there's an FAQ if you want to check that out later as well.
Yep, for sure.
Well, that's excellent, man. 22 days left with an option to extend. It's definitely on its way.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, that's excellent. So do you have any other live streams planned? Anything kind of lined up or anything like that?
I hopefully with some I've talked to some people. I love doing the live streams. I think they get the word out really, really well. It's funny, 6 months ago almost I guess 9 months ago when I was doing the book, a lot of the people who were doing live streams don't do them all that much. So it's like trying to find new people, getting on new podcasts. So it's good all around. It's just meeting new people. And so hopefully I can just get on as many podcasts as possible, anything as possible, and just get the word out. Cause I think people would want it. It's just finding the people who want it. That's the thing. And so, that's always the hard thing about crowdfunding. So I feel like I know it's a good product, but I just need to find the people who want to make it happen. That's really it. And so we'll hopefully find those people.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any Christmas podcasts or anything like that you could do.
Maybe there are. I know. I remember last time I reached out to and I joined so many online Facebook Christmas groups, which was a big mistake.
Oh no, really?
Because none of them. Well, honestly, they all banned me because I was just putting on my link. They're like, no self promotion. Oh
my god, jeez.
So it was I joined 50 Christmas, and they're all grandmas. They're all grandmas and grandpas and stuff like that.
Yeah, that sounds like a tough crowd.
You think they'd have a kind of hearts if they're
right? But I was like, oh my god, I'm so totally this is how I'm gonna fund the book. No, there's no doubt. But none of them wanted it. It was okay, and they all blocked me. So I just left the groups because it's completely consumed my Facebook feed. Just all these random Christmas gifts. It's what is happening?
It's like your Facebook has become Christmas.
Pretty much. It's how did this happen? How did we get here? Yeah.
That's funny, man.
But yeah, you're right. There probably are Christmas podcasts and a lot of Christmas websites and stuff like that. I've found that reaching out to that kind of stuff, though, I don't know if many people are that interested. I don't know. It's a hard thing with crowdfunding. It's kind of like it's an experiment just to see, will you fund this book? Reddit used to be really was occasionally sometimes just good, but again, they block you if you post or try to self-promote. So it's really hard to do the self-promotion on like groups. So that's why the best way is, again, doing interviews and just trying to get the word out on Twitter. No one can block me. Okay, well, people can block you on Twitter, but no one can stop me from posting it. So that's
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And people have really been really nice about retweeting, and I hope that continues. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts about if you might do a Kickstarter as well?
Well, I've seen people do this thing where once they get all the books printed and they have an excess amount of books, they go to Kickstarter and do something. So I could see maybe in November, just to get some more excitement for Christmas coming, maybe we'll have like a 10-day campaign and with like a $5 goal or something like that, and just see how many people want the book. Just again, like I said, it's a new audience.
I also saw I've seen some more people doing recently where they'll actually run concurrent campaigns. They'll do Indiegogo.
Yeah, like it's called like No Fan Left Behind or something like that. Like they do like the two things. Yeah, that's just so much to. I don't know. I feel like you have to be really high profile to be able to do that. Like you have to be like what's the guy's name who does the Lady Killer or Lady Death? What's his name? I forget his name. But you know what I mean? He has like the 6 figures, 7-figure campains that go crazy. Yeah, I forget his name, but that's the kind of guy who would do that kind of stuff.
Right.
But maybe one day, maybe for 3. Like
that could be cool. Yeah, who knows, right? But yeah, it would be interesting to tap into that market as well.
For sure, yeah. Kickstarter is really cool. Both of them are great. It can be frustrating, but it's definitely worth it. It's the best gig you can get. It's like the best opportunity you have, to get money through this thing that also promotes you. It's the best deal you can get to try to fund one of your creative projects. I totally believe that.
Have you thought of doing a Patreon at the same time while doing your crowdfunding, so that this way you can keep contact with a lot of the fans and offer things for them to kind of like stay along with it, but also have that to kind of help towards your production material as well?
I haven't really thought of a Kickstarter or a Patreon for that. I have a podcast that I do every 2 times a week. That's like I read brand new prose stories I write 2 prose stories a week and then read them. And so that's what I do for my podcast. And so hopefully when that grows, I will have a Patreon. I will want to do a Patreon. That's my goal. Hopefully in like a year from now. But in terms of what you're saying for a Patreon, I don't know if I've thought of that. So I don't know. Maybe it's possible though. So I can keep up with people and say, oh, here's this print, or here's this thing you might want from the old Kickstarter. Like I have so many bookmarks from the last Kickstarter and so many prints that I just don't even know what to do with. Like practically I just use them to like clean my teeth now because I just have so many. So it's like, okay, I need to figure out, maybe I could do, you're right, a Patreon or something like that.
Yeah, that could be a good way to get, it takes them that material to good use.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. I love this comic here. We talked the first time and I really enjoyed it, but it's really interesting to see how you've expanded on the world and really turned it into something that was really unique, but also kind of really expansive, with this world.
That's the goal. It's like the Empire Strikes Back, hopefully. Because how with the Empire Strikes Back, you go to Cloud City and you go to Dagobah and then you go to Hoth. That's exactly the same kind of vibe we're going for with issue 2. Like, we're going to take you to many different places. And and the people who you thought were your friends maybe aren't so much your friends. And so hopefully we'll take you there in 25 pages, 30 pages.
30 pages, very nice.
Yes.
It's a good sized book. And is there anything you can tease us maybe about the future, about that fabled 3rd issue?
Yeah, well, again, it's going to be all out war. So we're going to have the Christmas militia. Good King Wenceslas we will understand more about him and his goals and and then his army, and they're going to fight against the Nutcrackers, and then we're going to have an intergalactic battle where Caesar Demetrius and they fight in space. So there's going to be like we're going intergalactic outside, well, I guess outside of the planet, and it's going to be an epic battle. Issue 3 is going to have the most fights. There's no doubt about it. But with 2, we're still going to have epic brawls. Probably definitely the best fisticuffs in issue 2 between Jack Frost and the Nutcracker. But with issue 3 too, we're gonna see people like the Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, and Future, and their role in the story is integral, and a lot of really cool stuff. So I cannot wait to just keep expanding. And yeah, I mean, you never know. I would love to have like maybe 2 backup stories in issue 3, you know, and maybe it could be 40 pages, or you never know. Like there's just so many things we could do if we have the community support. So I would love to go there. I could definitely go there. I could write in the universe forever. I don't want it to end, but you know, when it's done, it's done. So I would love to make it the best possible thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say you get down to you do issue, you know, this one's successful, and you do another campaign, you get them all finished. Any plans to go back and then just compile them into a trade paperback at that point?
100%. Yeah, I would love to do that. And I've tried to, like, I was thinking maybe of getting the work published, but what I'm planning on doing with issue 3 and honestly with issue 2 is like things that I don't think people would accept. Like it's just things that you can really only do in independent comics. Like, you know, again, with adding all the different holidays, maybe a publisher might not want to do that. But I feel like it's necessary to talk about these different holidays that are about Christmas. If we're talking about a young boy's experience in Christmas, we have to talk about the religious aspects of it too. And even though it's small and it's not like huge or anything like that, we're still going to mention it. We're still going to see these things because it's important. It's about the idea of Christmas. We can't leave those parts out. And so that's what hopefully is different. And even with the Rankin and Bass movies, like there's stuff like that where they're like, oh, you know, Santa's suddenly talking about Jesus or something, or like, you know, this kind of random stuff that happens, but like it somehow is still grounded in that Christmas reality. Mm-hmm. And so that's what's so cool about those Rankin and Bass movies is it's in the 70s and 60s. So it's like, if they can mention Jesus if they want to, or, you know, like they can do all this stuff. So it's just, that's what's so cool about those movies. Whereas if this book was published somewhere else, I don't think that maybe they would accept that. So I don't know. There's that another awesome benefit of having it be independently published. And again, also adding characters. Like no book, if it was published, would allow you to do that. Adding characters in the background that from backers. I mean, that's such a cool opportunity. And so I hope people do that because a lot of people did last time. And so, yeah, I'm very excited.
I hope people take you up on that. That'd be really cool to see some more of those characters coming about.
For sure.
Oh,
for
yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, that's really excellent. I'm so excited for this, man. I know you got a lot of other projects on, but this seems definitely like the one you're focusing on most right now.
For sure. For sure.
There. You know, we actually talked a little bit. I think we talked as well about the Unspeakable Text before, right?
Yes, we did. Yes.
Definitely check that out. So that was a good one as well. It's another series, a little more dark than this one.
Definitely, yeah. So we have a website where all those are are on. So you can check out my Twitter, and I have a link tree where you can read all the stories there. Definitely next year we're going to try to get if I have to fund it on my own, I don't care. But like just a trade paperback. Hopefully it's going to be of 30 stories. Hopefully 30 stories. By the end, by about like March next year, we're gonna have 30 short stories. We're already to like at least 15, I think, for the next volume, but like 30 brand new short stories, comic book stories, all comic book stories.
Volume 3?
No, volume 2. Volume 2 did not fund, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Again, it's the trial and error.
But
yeah, it's the story, man. It's like you just got to keep going. You just got to keep going.
I want to see that story. I was really excited because that was the kind of the American focused one, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but we're gonna go even bigger now. So it's like we're gonna have 30 stories that hopefully people. And if you don't like this one, then you'll like this one or this one or this one. It's just about that idea. And again, it's about collaborating with people who have never drawn a comic book before. That's the coolest thing too, is like being able to collaborate with people who never thought they could draw a comic book before, or haven't done it for many years. And so that's the coolest thing, finding artists and making relationships and getting them out there and getting them, honestly, sometimes work. Like there was this one person who like said to me that the book got them onto this one artist who they're now working on a book with. So it's like, I mean, there's so much that can happen there. And so, and these are friends who you can have forever. And so it's, or at least online forever. And so I just really like the unspeakable text. And so I always am writing new stories for it. And yeah, we'll definitely be into that too next year. But right now it is Bric-A-Brac focus because I want to get this book done and we want to make sure it happens. So.
Well, I definitely appreciate you trying to, you know, get people out there who are new, haven't done it, or didn't think they could. Like, as someone who, you know, really appreciates indie creators, I think that's really cool that you're doing that.
Well, I think you guys do the same thing, so I appreciate you guys too. I think it's so cool that you guys are trying to start a independent publishing. But not only that, you have so many titles that you're trying to actively help. And I see you guys' Twitter, and you're always trying to promote your guys' creators and doing their thing. I think that's just awesome, just so cool.
Thank you, man. And I definitely see that in you as well. That's why I can appreciate that, I think. And I think people definitely appreciate that themselves when they see you, the passion that you put into this work.
Yeah.
It's very evident.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
Yeah. So, you know, we're getting close to pretty much the end of our time here, but, you know, what can we tease us about this issue? Anything you want to, you know, leave us off with? Anything you want to say to the fans out there?
Yeah, man, just new characters, more conflict, betrayal, you know, everything that comes with the sequel, but also a little bit more, definitely more environments, new ideas, more backstory and how the Nutcrackers got to be so evil, and then, you know, more about Garret's quest and finding Father Christmas, and Garret honestly having to forge his own path and do it on his own and not have the help of someone else. So we're going to see a lot of it. A lot is going to happen in these 30 pages. So yes,
that's excellent. And hopefully it'll all be ready for Christmas and people will be able to open it up this December and be reading it.
100%. Yeah, definitely by at least November is the goal, to have it to ship to everyone, even before Thanksgiving. If this succeeds. Now, if we have to extend it, it might be December. But still, I would love to get it out by that time.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like I said, I know you wanted that.
That sounds like a perfect plan.
Yeah,
right? That would be the perfect fulfillment for that. I feel like. Yeah,
for sure.
Get a little Christmas goodness.
Yeah, I would love to do that, and just hopefully get everything out before then. I don't think that, you know, there's gonna be, the Christmas shipping will be hardly as bad as it was in previous years this year, because I feel like, you know, again with, like, you know, how even there were articles about how people aren't going to be buying toys that much this year. And then there's also Black Friday is not going to be as big, or it's going to be way different. I just think the Christmas environment is going to allow me, because I've always feared, like, well, what if I have to send them in December? What if I have to send them in December? But it's like, I'm not really that scared of that. Like, it's not a big deal. So hopefully it's easier, because I don't know, but hopefully everything works out and we can ship them in November. And I would love to get this book funded. And just get as many people to know about it as possible.
That's excellent. Well, where can people follow you online, and so they can make sure they see all the cool stuff that you got going on?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm at Hawk_Pro, so HAACK_Pro on Twitter. And then from there, I have my link tree where you can find everything I do. I made that on my YouTube, where you can find my podcast that I do twice a week, and then the unspeakable text and the this campaign, and then I think something else too. And then the Raptor book that I'm doing, that's going to be launching in October with my friend Milton, which is it's a superhero book that is a character he created called Raptor, and it's amazing. And it's the first part of this epic graphic novel that I can't wait to present to you guys once this is over. So, or to I want to make sure that funds too. So
yeah, no, that sounds fun. I can't wait to see that one as well, man.
Like
I said, you've always got new projects coming on.
You gotta Hunter's Hunt, man. Hunter's Hunt.
Right, you can't stop, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's awesome, man. That's really cool, and I just love all this to see your stuff, you know, getting funded. Like it seems like you're building that fan base and really kind of, you know, growing your audience. For sure, yeah. It's consistency. I want to be consistent as possible. Like, even if no one's watching the podcast, it's coming out. It's coming out no matter what. So exactly, man. And once it's out there, the more that's, you know, the longer it's out there, the more people will see it. Exactly. So 100%. little bit counts, and that goes for you guys in the audience as well. If you watch this, we definitely appreciate it. And if you're watching on the replay, we appreciate that. And please go check out the link there. Take a look, see if it's something that you like. Maybe get it for a friend, get it for a family member, get it for yourself.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely, yeah. Like you said, it's a cool Christmas story, and there's a little bit of something for everybody. It's an all ages tale. If you have, you can get it for someone young in your life or old, and everyone's going to enjoy it.
Yeah,
so,
it seems like a win-win no matter what.
Yeah. I hope so, because again, like you said, the universe is expanding. It's getting more complicated. Hopefully, both kind of people can be interested in it. Adults and kids get more interested in it. So, yep.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you coming on, and hope everyone enjoyed. And